Hello everyone, we are Cyber Spirits back again with Linux Fundamentals Part 5. In previous video we studied about the components of Linux. In today's lecture we are going to discussing three topics, that is Linux architecture, file system hierarchy and introduction to shell. So let's go to our video. So let's first with Linux architecture. The Linux operating system can be broken down into layers, so let's start with hardware. That is peripheral devices such as the system's RAM, hard drive, CPU, and others. Next is kernel. The kernel is the core of the Linux operating system whose function is to virtualize and control common computer hardware resources like CPU, allocated memory, access data, and others. The kernel gives each process its own virtual resources and prevents/mitigates conflicts between different processes. So our next architecture is shell. A command line interface, also known as a shell, that a user can enter commands into to execute the kernel's functions. And our last architecture is system utility. It makes available to the user all of the operating system's functionality. So now let's look at the file system in Linux operating system. The Linux operating system is structured in a tree-like hierarchy and is documented in the File System Hierarchy Standard, FHS. Linux is structured with the following standard top-level directories. So let's start with /. The top-level directory is the root file system and contains all of the files required to boot the operating system before other file systems are mounted, as well as the files required to boot the other file systems. After boot, all of the other file systems are mounted as standard mount points as subdirectories. The next is /bin. The bin directory contains essential command binaries. The /boot directory consists of the static bootloader, kernel executable, and files required to boot the Linux OS. The /dev directory contains. The /etc directory contains local system configuration files. Configuration files for installed applications may be saved here as well. The /home directory contains each user on the system has a subdirectory here for storage. /lib directory contains shared library files that are required for system boot. /media directory contains external removable media devices such as USB drives are mounted here. /mit. /opt directory contains optional files such as third-party tools can be saved here. /root directory contains the home directory for the root user. /spin directory contains executables used for system administration. The /tmp directory contains the operating system, and many programs use this directory to store temporary files. This directory is generally cleared upon system boot and may be deleted at other times without any warning. The /use directory contains executables, libraries, man files. The /var directory contains variable data files such as log files, email inboxes, web application-related files, cron files, and more. So that's much for today's session. Tomorrow we will be discussing about introduction to shell, so see you on tomorrow.